Hey folks, we're working on week 5, the exercise that's required for week 5, and we are going to follow along the PDF for how to correct color. We're going to use automatic adjustments. So go ahead and open up any image that you wish to work with. And this one, I've opened up one with 2 dolphins, and we want to do one of the following. Click the levels or curves icon in the adjustments panel. So if you don't see your adjustments, you want to go to Window, Adjustments. And because I want to have that open, I'm going to go ahead and pop that up and right in there. I guess it doesn't want me to. There we go. I guess we'll just have it like that. And so we have our adjustment panel open, and it wants us to click the levels or curves icon. That could be here, levels. And then we automatically show that above the background layer, we get an adjustment layer. And because I did not create a new background, that's a bad thing. So if I do a Command Z, I want to double click my background layer, allow it to be an actual working layer as opposed to just a flattened background. Be sure you do that in the beginning. I forgot to do that, so I want to make sure I do that. The next thing I want to do is I will pop open those adjustment levels, and then we want to choose layer, new adjustment layer, and choose either levels or curves. And we already did that since we didn't do a new layer. It's just telling us that if you didn't, you want to go back and do that, which is what I should have done from the beginning. But apparently that was okay because they told me afterwards. So next, we want to open up the Properties panel. So if you don't have that open, you want to make sure you have that open. Window, Properties, sometimes it's hard to tell, it's right in front of your face and open, like mine was right there. So this is Properties, and you want to Option click on the Mac or Alt click on the PC the Auto button. That is located right here. So I'm going to go ahead and Option click it, and then the auto color correction options pop right up. Okay, next in the algorithms section of the auto color correction options dialog box, select and find dark and light colors options. Okay. Select Find Dark and Light Colors for your options. And then next you want to select the Snap Neutral Midtones option, right there. And then after that, specify the shadows and highlights that are clipped and adjust the target color for the midtones. So specify those. You can do some fairly interesting stuff here. You can see how much that changes. And then the midtones, maybe up here. Now I've got sort of a red tinge to it. Okay. See the highlights. Still want them to be pretty light. Okay, very good. And now you want to confirm and save as default is not selected, and click OK to apply the color. Save the new target colors as defaults. You can go ahead and say yes. So you can see I think it's a really neat way of adjusting the colors within. And the next thing we want to do is adjust levels within the adjustment layer. So we're going to use the levels command through the adjustment panel. So make sure nothing in the photo is selected, which we don't have anything selected. And then you want to apply your changes to the entire image. That's why we're doing that. So next thing we want to do is, if the adjustments panel is not visible, you want to make sure that's visible. We're just working with it, so it is visible. Next, we're going to, in the adjustment panel, click the Levels button. The Levels button is right here. That's the one that pops up. And then you see that within properties. And I think I selected one too many. Let's go ahead and delete it. We don't want to delete the layer mask though. Delete. 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 Accidentally did a bunch. So the next thing we'll do, there we go. Just one is fine. Go ahead and drag the left, the black triangle, to the point where the darkest colors begin. I usually do it this way, where I drag it right there. It gives real big, stark contrast. Observe that the darker parts of the image become darker, and then next we're going to drag the white triangle, to the point where the lightest colors begin. There we go. You can see that just pops those highlights and makes them ultimate contrast. Next, drag the middle gray triangle slightly to the left. You can kind of see what happens there. You've got, now your midtones are becoming really stark. And then when the image looks right to you, close the properties panel. So I'll go to about there. Okay, so I don't really need the properties panel anymore, so I can always close. There we go. Next, we're going to choose Windows Layer, Window Layers. We've got layers out here right now. And then next, we're going to select the Dodge tool in the Tools panel. And that Dodge tool is almost looks like a lollipop, just like a stick. If you hover, it looks similar to the magnifying glass. So if you don't see it there we go, Dodge. You can change the size and shape of the brush in the options bar, which is all up top. Obviously, we've got it pretty high. I'll bump it back down. I'm going to make it sort of medium hardness. I don't want it super feathery, but I want a little feather to it. Drag the brush across the photograph in the areas you want to lighten. So for example, if I feel this is a little too dark, which I do, I'm going to go down to work on the right layer here. You can see what happens. This top part becomes quite a lot lighter. Got to be careful though, because you don't want to, if you've already lightened a certain area and you go over it again, it will lighten it significantly. Don't want it to be too obvious there. There we go. So dodging requires some practice, and you may expose it a little bit less or more depending on, your specific situation with the image that you're trying to color correct or even retouch. Next, we're going to use the burn tool. Select the burn tool in the Dodge tool and tools panel. Hold down, and then you can select the burn tool. Burn looks like a little hand. Okay. Next, you can change the size of that as well in the options bar. I'm just going to let it default for right now. Drag the brush across the photograph in the areas that you want to darken. So I'm going to darken this area here just to make it feel really close. There we go. Okay, and now we're going to apply an Unsharp Mask. We're going to choose Filter, Sharpen, Unsharp Mask. So Filter, Sharpen, Unsharp Mask. There we go. The Unsharp Mask dialog box appears. Next, we're going to make sure the preview option is selected so you can see changes in the image as you make them. So you want to have that preview option box selected. Drag the amount slider until your image is as sharp as you want it. So you can get it pretty sharp. There we go. We've got up to the details here, which is pretty cool. Drag the radius slider and you can adjust its setting as much as you want, and then set the threshold setting to 0 pixels, which set 0 levels. And then when the image looks right, click OK. I like what I see there, so I'm going to click OK. There we go. So we added even more to this retouch image. Next, we're going to convert images to black and white. So do one of the following. In the Adjustments panel, click the black and white icon. So you've got your Adjustments panel. The black and white icon obviously can look similar to black and white, right like that. There we go. Choose Layer, New Adjustment Layer, Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and then black and white. There we go. We have the next panel up. And then in the New Layer dialog box, type a name for the adjustment layer and then click OK. So we're just going to do adjustment test. Let's see, OK. All right. And then next, Photoshop applies a default grayscale conversion and the Properties panel opens with black and white options. You can see that all the way over here. We've got black and white options up there. Okay. You can also choose image adjustments black and white, but keep in mind that this method makes direct adjustments to the image layer and discards image information. So next, in the Properties panel, manually adjust the conversion using the color sliders, apply an auto conversion, or select a preset gray mix. So you can do that if you want. Option click on the auto, or you know, you can change and make it more of like a different color mix if you'd like. Maximum black, maximum white. Lots of different options here. If I click to this, go back to black and white here. All right, so that's just another way to utilize. To apply a color tone such as a sepia tint, select the tint option in the Properties panel. You could do that here. And then, you know, you can adjust, but it gives you a tint. And then from there on, you can really adjust things further. This seems to be the end of the video time, so we're going to work with one other, just a few other tasks in the next video. I'll see you there.